Are you tired of winning yet, folks? Trump said we were going to get tired of winning, and I'm not tired yet, but it is definitely interesting to see every day pass and see all the executive orders, all the things that are getting done, all the people that are getting deported, all the problems that are getting exposed and hopefully fixed. Um, the battles going back and forth between all these world leaders with Trump. Just really kind of exciting times we're living in. This is an unprecedented situation we're in with having a leader that's actually a real boss, kind of gangster in his ways at times, in order to put somebody like Colombia's leader in a headlock. I love it. I love it. Sometimes you kind of need somebody that's got shrewd tactical skills when it comes to negotiations, especially when it comes to running a business like America. And if you don't agree with the fact that America is a business, it obviously is as much money that flows through its hands. I don't know what else to call it. It's a republic, but it's definitely a huge business. Now, Trump said we're going to get so tired of winning. And if you stick around long enough, you'll see there's not one thing that I put out here today that is not got a silver lining or is not good news from this point forward. Just happened in the last day or two. Every bit of this information, including the fact that they're fighting RFK Jr., and we have got a possible solution to people that don't vote for him. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get into this. Something I found a little while back, and something I want to say, wanted to share. And I think he's right.
To be so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of your country because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
At the United Nations today,
I love it. I love it. Are you tired of winning yet, folks? I thought that was a pretty cool intro. Let's go ahead and get into the wins of the day. Lots of stuff happening on several fronts. I just pick about a dozen that randomly out to throw at y'all. Well, I know you all remember the story about Gold Bar Bob, Senator Bob Menendez. He is now crying in court as the judge sentences him to 11 years in prison for bribery. All them gold bars and those blocks of cash in his pocket of his jacket in his closet. That stuff finally caught up with him. I believe he was tied in with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden as well, involved in some stuff in the Ukraine. But what he actually got busted over, I probably will find out here directly. But he was doing business with the Egyptians and several different people. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about Gold Bar Bob and his prison sentence. It says breaking news: Bob Menendez is now asking for 8 years sentence, up from a 2 year or less he asked for in writing. His lawyer Adam Fee says this is based on what's happening this morning. 8 years on di- diabetes. I don't know what that is. It says 97 months on Hannah Inner City Press live tweeting below. Okay, now Bob Menendez bribe taking sentencing after bribe givers Fred De- DeBias. I guess that's the okay. He is the bribe giver. Got 8 years and 97, and Wally Hanna got 97 months. Okay, so these are a couple other people involved. Says U.S. wants 15 years on Gold Bar Bob. Inner City Press wrote a book on Amazon, Gold Bar Bob Menendez. And let's see here. That's not what I was looking for, but let's keep going with it. Oh, wow. Tweeting like crazy about it, but Gold Bar Bob got 11 years today. Says New Jersey Democrat Governor Phil Murphy appointed his former chief of staff George Helmsley to temporarily replace Menendez for the remainder of his term. In November, Democrat Party Andy Kim won the Senate election to serve with Cory Booker. And well, he intends to appeal with the jury's verdict. verdict, all the way to Supreme Court if necessary. Blah blah blah. Let's go on down. He had gold bars. He had cash. He had different kinds of gold bars. So this case has always been about shocking levels of corruption, hundreds and thousands of dollars, and bribes in form of cash, gold bars, and Mercedes Benz. This wasn't politics as usual. This was politics for profit. And now that a jury has convicted Bob Menendez, his years of selling his office to the highest bidder have finally come to an end. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. You know what this means, folks? I don't know if this is unprecedented or not, but it doesn't happen very often. This guy was just a senator just months ago. He is now going to jail. Going to jail. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of a long list of crooks that get sentenced, indicted, and get locked up. As a matter of fact, I got a video clip for you closer to the end about General Milley. It's a good one. All right, folks, let's get into this. I got several things I want to bring to y'all today. Some of it we'll go through pretty quick. It says Trump, while he was speaking today, he signed the Lincoln Riley Act into a bill into a law. Um, he told everybody these countries will be taking their deportees back. And he said he's also going to fire the federal workers who refuse to show back up in person on February 6th. He also made an offer deal for through an email and in person here for to basically get rid of several of federal employees, the ones that don't want to work under Trump. Give them like an 8 month severance package, and you're out of here. And the ones that don't want to come back to work doing the remote working, that option's on the table for them as well. He's trying to be negotiable, but he definitely wants to get rid of some people. He thinks it'll actually save our country some money, and I'm all for that. Fire these useless people that don't want to come to work and save our taxpayers some money. Sounds like a good plan to me. Says this is a great one. Trump revokes deportation protections for over 600,000 Venezuelan migrants. Biden, in his last 2 weeks of office, decided he was going to protect these Venezuelans for 18 months from being able to be kicked out of the country. Just executive ordered it last minute, within the last couple of weeks, just because they knew when Trump got in, he was going to start deporting people. And so they tried to do that for several groups, and the Haitians as well. But we're finding out now that can be rescinded, that can be revoked. Just as quick as it got signed into executive order, Trump cancels it, and now we've got 600,000 Venezuelans that can go home. Amen. All right, folks, we got some more to get into. Let's go right on down the line. We're going to try to be quick as possible. I got a couple 2 minute videos, but for the most part, it's just news. Got two stories about an inspector general. Now, everybody knows a week ago, Trump said he's firing 15 or 17. I don't know. I forget the number of inspector generals, um, USDA inspector generals. And one of them today decided that she wasn't going to leave her office, even though she had been fired, basically. These are Biden appointed people. And when the new administration comes in, he tells you got to go. You got to go. Well, he fired all these IGs over all these committees and agencies. And I think it was 13, now that I think about it. And one of them decided she wasn't going to leave. And they literally had to, I guess, drag her out of the place. Had to call security on her. Says, in the Trump administration is not playing around with those who choose to defy the 47th president. One government bureaucrat learned that the hard way earlier this week. Says Jim Hoff previously reported Trump fired 17 inspector generals on Friday night purge to punctuate the end of the first week in office. Trump made an exception, though, for current Department of Homeland Security Inspector General Joseph Kufari Jr., who is conducting multiple investigations into Secret Service failures and his assassination attempts. So the White House stated they removed these partisan hacks to make room for people who will actually uphold the rule of law and protect democracy and hopefully keep the DEI out. That was kind of a disqualifying factor for a lot of them as well. I'm sure they allowed this stuff to seep into these agencies without any oversight. Let me get into this here. That is good news as well. Told you today, folks. It's going to be nothing but good news. It says as Inspector General Fung was responsible for audits, evaluations, investigations, law enforcement efforts relating to USDA programs and operations, but she ultimately failed in the mission. As the House Education Committee pointed out on their X account, despite her failures and complicity in corruption, she felt entitled to her position until finally being escorted out the door. Somebody called Trump and go, "We got an ID over here refusing to leave. Let me talk to security." I can see it. Put her in a headlock, get her out the room. I didn't really mean that, folks. We don't promote violence on my channel here. Just take her out in a peaceful kind of way. And here's another story about another Inspector General story. Pull this up for you real quick. Mr. Brandon Johnson. We all know that name. It says breaking Chicago Inspector General just released a report stating that Mayor Brandon Johnson's office accepted gifts, including jewelry, handbags, and alcohol on behalf of the city without publicly reporting them. The mayor's office refused to make the mayor's gift room available for inspection. Oh, he's got a whole room full of this stuff. He's got a gift room, probably otherwise known as the vault. I don't know this guy. And let's see what they say on this full page here. It says, mayor office accepted gifts, declined without mayor's gift room available for inspection. OIG fines. Okay. Same statement, just wrote a little differently. All right, moving on to the next one. That means he'll be like Gold Bar Bob, eventually be catching him a case too, right? Because we are now in a time of prosecutions, not persecutions, but prosecutions of these people. We are going to start holding them accountable. That's what I hear. Just like we heard that we were going to be deporting people, didn't know to believe it or not. We heard that people are going to be held accountable. It's fixing to happen, folks. I feel it. I see it. I don't think it's talk. I don't think there's much they can do to stop it. So Justin Trump announced a new executive order to prepare a 30,000 person illegal immigrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Before I get into it, um, instead of kicking these Trinidad Aragua out of the country and these cartel leaders and these human traffickers, instead of just kicking them over the border and hope they don't show back up, that doesn't seem like a fitting punishment for these people. Uh, I think put them in, considering they are now considered terrorist organizations if they're proven to be part of the cartel, then we can put them in Guantanamo Bay and use that facility for deportees. We can use that facility for permanent housing, otherwise known as prison, for these folks. But there's going to be some of these folks that are so bad that we don't want to release them back into the streets, not even in their own country, unless their own country is willing to put them in jail. And that's not guaranteed to happen. So we're going to have a place to put the worst of the worst because we're going to be rounding up some terrorists and some people on watch lists and things as well. We're going to need a place for those people. So it was good of Trump to secure that again. Very smart move. Another massive facility. Now here we go from his own mouth.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000 person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
and I think we will get it. I don't think that will be a problem. I think Congress, with some bipartisan support, will put the money towards the wall. I just have a feeling. I don't believe all the Democrats are going to be anti-immigration at this point. It's not advantageous for their future. Oh, I don't have my glasses in here. Very tiny. Says, I hereby direct this Security of Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security, that's Hegseth and Christy Nome, to take all appropriate actions to expand the I can't hardly read. Expand the Migrant Operations Center in Naval Station Guantanamo Bay. They doing it. There's the executive order right there. There's the actual writ right there. The document, White House memo, whatever you want to call it. My terminology is not great all the time, folks. I'm just a hillbilly from Texas. Now, the last couple of days, I've been watching a lot of Tom Homan, a lot of Stephen Miller. They seem to be able to keep up with the numbers and what's going on, and they've been doing a lot of rebuttals on stations like CNN, and I'm glad because I want the American people to know why this is being done, how it's being done, and why it's necessary. Benny Johnson says, want to see a murder on live TV? Get ready to see it. Stephen Miller takes out Jake Tapper on CNN in an ugly fashion. Here we go.
A question because one of the reasons that President Trump got elected, according to President Trump in an interview, I think it was with Kristen Welker of NBC, was because of grocery prices. Not the only reason, but a reason, high prices, inflation, especially at the grocery. The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do. So, how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will. Give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this.
We don't have 30.
Give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want to go in this. I got the facts.
Audience.
I don't have a third. I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you can come back and we can talk about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws, and as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
So,
unapologetically going to kick these people out of our country. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Give me a thumbs up if this video is making you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Just from the good news it's pouring out, and I hadn't got it all, folks. I just took a crumb of it. There are 50 things that I could talk about today in the news that made me smile, just from listening to my Bluetooth all day and doing some reading this evening. I found out today Benny Johnson, Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk, all three want press passes, and Gateway Pundit's already got his credentials. Court Jordan Conradson from the Gateway Pundit has already got his press pass. So great news. I wonder if Tim Pool's going to want to show up, and several others. People who have millions of subscribers. Why not? That way, like I said yesterday, this is a good thing for the country because these guys will actually get to ask the real smart, need to be asked hard questions. Says, what do you want me to ask? Is what Benny put out on his tweet. Shows him with Caroline Levitt because he is now officially registered to be part of the White House press corps. So we're going to be seeing Benny Johnson asking questions right in there beside Peter Ducey and Jordan Conradson and hopefully Charlie Kirk or one of his representatives. It's going to be great, folks. I can't wait to see some of these questions. And what do you want to ask will be the way that we can take our own voices and our own opinions to surveys and things that, say, people like Benny do on their show, and then able to go, okay, this is the most asked question all week. So that'd be one of the questions that he asked at the press conference if he gets asked a question. That's actually getting the people's voice back in government. And I seen that that's what this was going to do, not just allow more people in the room, but allow the American people's voice to be heard because we're going to be recognized because we're going to have the right questions that the American people actually want the answers to. This is going to be a glorious thing. Open the press corps up. You will see. This is going to be better than just more people in the room. It's going to be better questions. It's going to be crowdsourced questions from X things that maybe we do or do not agree with Trump on, and somebody's going to be asking these questions, and I'm glad. Now, this is great. Now, Robert F. Kennedy's trying to get confirmed today, being grilled and vetted by a bunch of crazy, screaming Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas type Democrats. And I just thought it was kind of sad because they 4 minutes of berating him, and then they didn't give him time to answer his question, and he speaks kind of slow anyway. And so before he could get a decent answer out, they were on to the next question and trying to make him look bad. You know how they do it. They do it to everybody, but because he speaks slow, I think it actually was worse. But he did fine. He held his ground, but he was calling him out. He was fighting back the whole time. But today, his was going to be his VP running mate. Her name is Nicole Shanahan. She was one of his financial backers. She is a billionaire. Well, she says, I'll just tell you what she says. Here we go. I don't want to spoil it for you. She is going to be part of the Trump team with Bobby Kennedy. I don't know what role she's going to play. I actually haven't looked into that, but she is definitely going to be part of the cabinet as well. But she's got a threat.
So this hasn't been widely reported, but in 2020, I cut large checks to Chuck Schumer to help Democrats flip 2 Senate seats in Georgia from red to blue. The 2 candidates I helped elect, Senator Raphael Warnock and Senator John Ossoff, please know I will be watching your votes very closely. I will make it my personal mission that you lose your seats in the Senate if you vote against the future health of America's children. And more than that, I also want to say to Senators Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy, Tom Tillis, James Lankford, Cory Booker, John Fetterman, Bernie Sanders, and Catherine Cortez Masto, this is a bipartisan message, and it comes directly from me. While Bobby may be willing to play nice, I won't. If you vote against him, I will personally fund challengers to primary you in your next election, and I will enlist hundreds of thousands to join me. Big Pharma and Big Ag have exploited us for far too long. It ends now. You're either on the side of transparency and accountability, or you are standing in the way. The choice is yours. Please choose wisely.
I love it. I love it, folks. That woman just went
So
beast
this
mode.
hasn't been widely reported.
That is beast mode. I'm glad to see she is on our team. She helped finance Warnock and the other one, Hassoff, whatever his name is. I bet just like she helped put them in there, she helped get them out of there. What do you think, folks? So now we got Elon, Scott Pressler, Miss Shanahan, Charlie Kirk, Benny Johnson, Trump. So many people that now have a big enough voice that they say, we're going to expose you, we're going to primary you, we're going to bankroll somebody to take your job. I love it, folks. This is great news. I'm just glad to see people standing up for our country again. Times are changing, folks. Now, this here's the last video clip of the day, and it may be the best. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said the Pentagon is going to investigate General Mark Milley. They're going to try to take his stars away from him, maybe take his pension away, make him wear a mask. I don't know.
I want to ask you about General Mark Milley. His photo, his portrait was taken down at the Pentagon. He has, I think there's currently a commission being put together to explore whether or not he should be demoted. His security clearances have been taken away. Tell me the thought process, both there at the Pentagon, at the White House, with Mark Milley.
Accountability is back, Will. It's the understanding that if you actively undermined the chain of command, as General Milley did under the previous Trump administration, we are going to review those actions administratively inside the Defense Department. Mark Milley got a pardon. That's something President Biden was in his purview to do. Just like in our purview at the Defense Department, we have the opportunity to review things he may have done inside the chain of command while President Trump was president that undermined those authorities. So security clearance in the interim is revoked. There will be a review of the rank he will retain upon retirement, and he'll have that process. But this is a demonstration that inside President Trump's Defense Department, we're going to hold not just junior levels or the highest levels possible accountable for actions, and that's what the signal this is meant to send.
One question. Do pardons apply to military tribunals? I'll have to Google that one. Find out. I don't know. That's a good question. That's what I got for you today, folks. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. See you about this time tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and share. Do all that stuff. Hit them buttons and everything.